Pregame.com.
Thursday night NBA right here at pregame.tv. This is the one that's not on TNT. This is the battle between the Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento lane 2. The total 206.5 as we speak. This is Marco D'Angelo's best bet. Dallas playing their second in back-to-back nights in this particular game after playing at Staples against the Clippers on Wednesday night. You can catch us up to speed on the numbers, but I'll say one thing when I look at that back-to-back nights, their defense lacks. I mean, they look hamstrung on the defensive end the last several when they're playing that second of back-to-back nights.
Oh, absolutely. And Dallas is going to have a little bit of problems too. As we know, Dirk's trying to get himself back into playing shape, so playing back-to-back nights definitely going to be disadvantage for him. When I sit down to look at a basketball game, I like to look and say, I ask myself the who, what, where, and why questions. And, in this game, I asked the who, and you just already said, who did Dallas just play? Well, they played the night before, and they played a good team. They played the Clippers team, which you're going to be up for because the Clippers are playing great basketball so far this season. Then I look at the what. What's the scheduling situation? Well, this is going to be their third game in 4 days, and all three games were in different cities, so they're traveling. That's, again, a negative for the Dallas team. Where does Dallas play next? Well, they finish this 3-game road trip, and they come home to play another big-name team, Memphis, who's had early season success. Then I look and I say, well, why? Why should I take who I'm going to take in this game? Well, I look and I say, the why is this is a great spot for the Kings. Besides the scheduling advantage, they're playing with revenge for a game at Dallas where they got absolutely spanked 119-96. So that's, the groundwork when I start to look at a game.
Sounds good. And you're going to get a best bet in just a moment. Yeah. But I'm going to throw it to Bryan by saying the Kings have been dog meat since Friday night in the last couple of games. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be here. It's a totally different situation. And Marco just started to explain what's going on in this game as far as the spot is concerned. We got 2 wins out of Sacramento last week. I was listening to Bryan closely, not just to your best bet. Congratulations, first of all, on Sacramento on Friday night, going up to Toronto, which is apparently farmland, according to Bryan Leonard. And Sacramento wins the game outright. And then he did kind of mention that, they might have a good time on Saturday night in and around New York and Brooklyn, and apparently they did because they didn't show up on the basketball court. So we got 2 wins out of the Sacramento Kings last weekend. But anyway, that was predictable. Their first game after first home game after a 4-game road trip, and they are getting healthy, or I should say was the other night, talking about Sacramento. Now they're finally getting healthy. Tyreek Evans did play in that first home game when they came back home. They didn't play well. He only played 12 minutes, but this team is getting healthier now.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, we are making this video before they play the Clippers, so we don't know.
Right.
We got a pretty good idea what's going to happen in that game. But, Dallas has dropped 8 of their last 9 straight up. They're not playing very good ball. Dirk coming back, having a lot of problems with that. And, since December 1st, they only have 1 double-digit win. It was the game here against Sacramento that you pointed out. But my question is, and it's been in the news all day today, will Sacramento even have a basketball team next year? I mean, they may be moving to Seattle.
Here we go again.
My question is, if I've never been to Sacramento. It could be a great town. But if you're a player for Sacramento, now there's a pretty good chance where you're going to be playing next year. How do you approach this game? I mean, do you have other things on your mind? Because you have to move your family. There's been a lot of talk about them moving.
I don't think they do. I don't think they will. Yeah, I really don't.
That's my only concern here is they've got other things on their mind other than basketball.
It's funny, the coolest thing about working with Jack Snow as a host all those years is asking him how the professional athlete, which is the elite athletes, obviously, or warriors of our time or whatever, how their thinking is compared to the average guy on the street. And it's so different. I mean, once they're starting to lace them up and tape up the wrist and everything else to get out there, it's just like they just don't care. I mean, they don't, it's just one of those things. I mean, there are some basketball players who probably ain't at the peak level or at the elite level who do think about those things and worry about those things. But I would bet from doing all those shows with Jack and asking him all those questions, those kind of questions, 90% of the players out there are just focused at the task at hand. Really do. But anyway, it's your best bet. And I was going to ask you, we got Dirk and the newbies still getting used to each other. We got DeMarco Cousins all of a sudden playing because he might get traded. He sees dollar signs and he's going crazy. But anyway, this is your best bet.
All right, the Kings were good to me last week. I'm going to come right back and ride them again. It's the situation, as I said, You brought it out. They lost bad on Monday. They got crushed. But what was the scenario? They were coming back home from an East Coast road trip. I don't want to beat it to death, but it's something that works for me. This is the second game back on the homestand. I like to take teams in that situation. Plus, when you got embarrassed in the first game back home, you know you're going to get their attention. Also, the scheduling situation with the Mavericks, 3 games in 4 nights, that's great. Plus, you're playing a team that's rested. They're playing on a Thursday. They haven't played since Monday, the Kings. Great spot for the Kings. I like them here. We're going to go ahead, take Sacramento. I've got them winning by 7 to 9 points in this game. Take the Kings as my best bet 2 weeks in a row.
And when we come back, more best bet action, this time from college basketball on Thursday. Big Pac-12 matchup. USC at Colorado. That's Brian's best bet. Stick around for that and more.